Hello and welcome to episode 530 of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Now, in today's episode, as I check my notes, we're talking about, you may have heard of a clear sales message before. Certainly, if you've listened to this podcast more than once, I talk about having a clear sales message so people understand exactly what you're talking about. But you may never have heard of a clear sales process. And that's what we're talking about today, is taking the time, and lots of companies are guilty of this, not having this in place, taking the time to standardize and processize. That's probably a term, isn't it? Standardize and processize the process. To actually list out step by step what happens when you interact with a potential buyer. What do you need to ask them? What needs to happen? What do you do? What don't you do? Etc. To move them along from prospect to then somebody actually buying. By externalizing your sales process, even if you're an individual business owner, a solopreneur, like my good self, having a set process that anybody can follow does two things. First of all, anybody could follow it. So you could delegate it to somebody. They know exactly what to do because you've explicitly mapped out all of the steps that are happening there. But secondly, it allows you actually just to get a visual on it. When you see the actual process, the step-by-step process that people will run through to buy from you, you can spot things that are unnecessary, things that are missing, things that can be automated or outsourced or delegated or whatever. You can optimize it and make it as effective as possible. So if you haven't already, I would urge you today to start jotting down what are the points in your sales process. How do you find people? What do you ask them? Where do they go? What do they do? How do they become a buyer? Map it out, simplify it. It allows you to optimize it, but it also allows you to standardize it so everybody else in your business can do the same thing, or you can delegate it to somebody else. So it's great to have a clear sales message, but having a clear sales process is a real game changer. And it's not much more difficult than just jotting down what you're already doing. So you've got it in one place, visualizing it, and then seeking to optimize it. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Tomorrow in episode 531, we're talking about bad mouthing. And there's a couple of examples in. It's a famous example in the UK of bad mouthing, but we'll get to that tomorrow. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please hit the like or subscribe or share button or comment below. Let us know what you like about the podcast. Ask us any questions. Share it with somebody that you might think would find it interesting. It just helps us to reach more people. Thank you for your time and attention. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for another fast-talking edition of the Daily Sales Message.